Good evening, my friend. Wherever you are right now, whatever kind of day you've had, you don't have to solve anything anymore tonight. For the next little while, there is nothing you need to fix. No decision you have to make. You are allowed to simply lie there, breathe, and let the weight of the day slowly slide off your shoulders. If you like, you can let your eyes grow a little heavier. Notice the way your body rests on the bed or the couch beneath you. Feel the quiet support of the mattress, the gentle weight of the blanket, the cool or warm air brushing against your skin. Let your jaw unclench, your shoulders soften, your hands rest in whatever position feels most natural. There is no right or wrong way to listen. There is only you, here, at the end of a long day. You don't need to listen with sharp attention. This is not a class, and there will be no test. You can let my words pass through you like a soft breeze through an open window. If your mind drifts away, that's perfectly fine. If you miss a detail, the story will simply carry you along anyway, like a slow, quiet river in the dark. Take a gentle breath in through your nose and let it fall out slowly. Imagine your thoughts loosening a little with each exhale, as if someone has turned down the volume on the noise inside your head. With every breath, there is just a bit more space. A little more softness, a little more room for calm to arrive. And as your breathing settles into its own easy rhythm, I imagine that the weight of gravity, just for tonight, is loosening its hold on you. Not in a dramatic way, but in a calm, almost sleepy way. As if the mattress beneath you becomes just a little lighter, and your body begins to feel gently buoyant, safe and supported, yet not quite as heavy as before. You are still here, in your room, but something about the night is starting to open. Above you, where the ceiling usually is, I imagine a slow change taking place. The familiar surface starts to soften and grow dim, like a curtain of shadow being pulled back. Little by little, it fades into a deep, velvety blue. Tiny pinpoints of light begin to flicker into view. First 1, then 3, then dozens, then hundreds of stars emerging from the dark. Patient and unhurried, the room around you grows quieter, as if the world is respectfully lowering its voice while the universe steps gently into view. You are not falling, you are drifting. Very slowly, almost imperceptibly. You feel as though you are floating upward into this quiet sky. Your bed is your small, steady ship, and your breath is the soft engine that moves you. There is no rush. No destination you must reach in TMA. Tonight, we will wander through the solar system in the most unhurried way possible, one sleepy fact at a TMA. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Sleepy Inside channel. Here, you'll always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. Where are you listening from tonight? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. As you breathe in again, imagine the walls of your room gently dissolving into shadow, revealing a wide, round window to the cosmos. Outside that window, Earth hangs beneath you, a blue and white marble turning slowly in the dark. City lights glow like scattered embers, Thin clouds drift across oceans and continents, soft and silver in the moonlight. Somewhere down there is the place where your body truly lies. But for now, you are watching from above, calm and quiet. If you let your mind wander, you might remember a night when you looked up at the sky and felt, even for a moment, that everything was a little bit bigger than your worries. Maybe it was a childhood night, lying on a rooftop or a balcony. Maybe it was a late walk home, when you happened to notice a bright star overhead. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace? You don't need to answer out loud. Just let the memory float closer, like a small lantern in the dark. Now, I imagine that our little ship, that soft bed carrying you, has slipped into a quiet current of invisible light. We begin to move away from Earth, not fast and not slow, just steadily, like a feather floating along a gentle stream. The planet grows smaller behind us, and ahead. The sun glows like a distant, golden heart. Its light is softer from here, filtered through space like warm candlelight seen from the end of a long hallway. Tonight, we are not racing through space. We are not slingshotting around planets or diving into storms. We are simply drifting in soft spirals from one world to the next. With each breath, we glide a little farther, and with each exhale, another bit of the day falls away. Messages, deadlines, the hum of worries that followed you into the evening, they all begin to blur and fade, joining the long trail of starlight behind us. Ahead, somewhere in the quiet darkness, lies a tiny, scorched world that hugs the sun more closely than any other, Mercury. It is a small, rocky planet, pocked with ancient craters and steep cliffs, a place where sunlight can be harsh and shadows can be cold. Yet even there, in the corners that never see the sun, scientists think ice might be hiding, quietly enduring in the darkness. When we reach it, we will not disturb anything. We will simply drift by, watching, learning, letting its stillness speak. For now, you don't have to remember its details. You don't have to hold on to any particular fact. All you need to know is that our journey has begun. You are lying safely where you are, breathing gently, while the solar system slowly opens like a book around you, one silent page at a time. And as your eyes grow heavier, we move, ever so softly, toward that first small world circling the sun. Part 2, the first small worlds. Mercury comes into view so quietly that you almost don't notice it at first. Against the dark velvet of space, it hangs like a small, grey lantern, pale, cratered, and old. It is not as bright as the moon you know from your own sky, but there is a certain softness to the way sunlight touches its surface. Long shadows stretch across wide basins and ridges, like ink brushed gently across stone. Our little ship drifts closer, still at a safe, unhurried distance. We are not here to land, to crash, or to conquer. We are simply passing by, as respectful visitors in a very ancient library. Every crater, every scar on Mercury's surface is a page from a story that began long before any human stood under a sky and wondered what was out there. If you let your imagination wander, you can picture standing on that surface at dawn, when the sun, enormous and blinding, begins to rise slowly over the horizon. The sky would turn from black to deep blue to a strange, brilliant gold. Bright light on one side, sharp shadow on the other. And yet, even in a place that seems so harsh, there are corners where light never reaches, deep craters at the poles, where cold clings like a secret. In those craters, scientists believe ice may be hiding, preserved in the darkness for millions upon millions of years. There is something comforting about that thought, even so close to the sun. In a world that seems all fire and stone, there are pockets of quiet cold where water has been able to rest. Light and dark, warmth and ice, all sharing one small planet in a delicate balance. As we drift around Mercury, take another slow breath in and let it out just a bit longer than before. Imagine that, with each exhale, you too are leaving behind tiny craters of worry, places where old impacts once felt sharp and loud, but which Time has softened at the edges. You don't have to erase them. You only have to know that they no longer define you. They are just part of your surface stories written, then left to rest. Gently, our ship begins to turn, and Mercury slides away behind us like a pebble rolling into the distance. Ahead, the light grows thicker, more diffuse, like fog glowing from within. We are approaching Venus. From far away, Venus looks serene, a round, creamy white world wrapped in unbroken cloud. No sharp lines, no visible craters, just swirls of pale gold, ivory, and faint blushes of orange, like the surface of a softly lit marble. It is easy, from here, to imagine it as a peaceful world, a bright morning star, an evening star, a quiet companion to the earth in the sky. We will not dive down into the storms below. That is not the journey we are taking tonight. Instead, we scheme high above the tops of the clouds, our perspective gentle, our distance safe. From here, those clouds look like slow oceans of mist, endless and calm. They curl and unfurl, folding into one another as if the whole planet is breathing. In and out. In and out. Venus rotates so slowly that a single day there would stretch longer than a year. Timon, its surface, is drawn out, lazy, lingering. The planet turns in the opposite direction of most others, like a dancer who decided, quietly and without explanation, to spin the other way. It is an odd, graceful rebellion written into the sky. Maybe you've had days like that, days that felt so long they seemed to stretch past their own edges. Days when you felt you were turning against the usual rhythm of the world. If so, you're not alone. Even in our solar system, not every world moves in the same way. Some march in step, and others drift to their own slow, unusual beat. There is room for both. As we pass by, we let the swirling clouds of Venus remind us that Time can be different in different places. What feels endless now may one day become a small, softened memory. What seems out of sync may simply be your own quiet orbit. Not wrong, just unique. You don't need to fix your pace tonight. You only need to notice your breath, the simply repeating pattern that belongs to you. Breathe in, breathe out. You are still drifting, gently. Our ship glides on, leaving Venus glowing softly behind us. In front of us now, like a precious jewel suspended in the dark, is a familiar sight: Earth. From this distance, it is so beautiful that it almost hurts to look at. Swirls of white cloud curl over deep blue oceans. Brown and green continents are brushed with the soft haze of atmosphere, as if an artist has taken their thumb and blended the edges into the darkness around them. Thin bands of light wrap around the planets, leaving subtle hints of sunrise and sunset happening all at once, everywhere. Somewhere down there, the night is just beginning. Lights turn on in windows. People are making tea, talking quietly, brushing their teeth, checking their phones. One last team. Others are already asleep, curled under blankets, breathing slowly in their own private universes of dreams. And then there is you, listening to a story about worlds and orbits, letting your mind float a little further from the noise of the day. Earth is the only world we know where water dances in three forms all at once, as vapor in the clouds, as liquid in the rivers and seas, and as ice atop mountains and at the poles. It is a planet of cycles of rain that rises and falls, of seasons that change, of lives that begin, grow, and circle back into silence. When you think about your own days, your own seasons of life, it can be soothing to remember that you are part of this larger pattern. Nothing in nature is always blooming. Nothing in nature is always still. Everything takes turns resting. Our ship drifts past the Earth, and as we pass, we also see its constant companion, the Moon. The Moon hangs nearby like a quiet listener, keeping its gaze fixed on Earth as it has for billions of years. Its surface is a patchwork of darker plains and lighter highlands, shaped by forgotten collisions and ancient lava seas now frozen into stillness. Night after night, it has watched waves rise and fall on your planet's shores. It has seen campfires, city lights, lanterns, and the glow of phone screens in countless human hands. Perhaps you remember a night when the moon seemed especially close, when its pale light made you feel a little less alone. You might have stood at a window or on a balcony, feeling the cool air, thinking about someone far away. You didn't know it, but in that moment, you were part of the same soft rhythm that moves oceans and tugs quietly at the crust of the earth. You were, and are, connected to the sky in ways far deeper than words. Here, as our ship slides between Earth and Moon, you can imagine looking back and seeing them together, the blue planet and its grey companion, circling one another in a slow, quiet dance. They are like two old friends who have walked side by side for longer than memory, saying very little, but sharing everything. If you like, you can place one hand lightly on your chest now, feeling the rise and fall beneath your palm, your heartbeat, steady and persistent, is a tiny echo of this cosmic dance. Just as the Earth and Moon tug on each other, shaping tides and orbits, the experiences and people you've met have shaped you. Some days, that pull feels strong. Other days, it's just a faint, familiar presence. Either way, you are held in a web of connections, some near, some far, that make your existence quietly meaningful. We turn our gaze outward again, beyond the orbit of Earth and the path of the Moon. The darkness deepens, but it is not empty. Ahead, tinted in rusty reds and soft browns, there is another world waiting, Mars. From here, Mars looks a little like a faded desert marble, dusted in iron and shadow. It is smaller than Earth, quieter now than it once was. Its thin atmosphere lets the night come quickly, and its winds gently rearrange the sands over long stretches of Temay. Deep canyons cut across its face, and a mountain taller than any on Earth rises silently from its surface, watching the stars in thin, cold air. We will visit Mars more closely soon. We will glide over its valleys and ancient riverbeds, imagining water that once may have flowed there in narrow streams and broad, reflective lakes. We will let its rusty plains remind us of old dreams that changed shape, of paths we thought we would take that turned out differently. But not yet. For now, we linger here, between Earth and Mars, in a corridor of space where the sun's light is still bright but softened, finally gentle enough not to sting the eyes. The solar wind flows around us like an invisible tide. Our little ship rocks almost imperceptibly, as if cradled in a slow, cosmic lullaby. Take another deep, easy breath. Notice again the support beneath your body. Feel how, even as we float through this imagined sky, your real, physical self is resting safe, warm enough, supported by pillow and mattress and gravity that hasn't gone anywhere. You are both here and there, in your room, and in the quiet gap between two worlds. We let the Earth and Moon shrink gradually behind us, their light folding back into the dark. Ahead, Mars waits, patient and still, a small, red lamp in the distance. Our journey continues, but the pace does not change. Softly, slowly, one sleepy fact at a TMA. Mars grows slowly larger in the window, like a diamember in a vast, cool room. The closer we drift, the more its colors come into focus, not just red, but a whole palette of soft browns, faded oranges, and dusty golds. It looks less like a planet and more like a weathered painting, layers of Temay brushed gently over one another. The darkness of space around it makes those colors feel even warmer, like a lantern glowing in the night. We come to rest in a quiet orbit, high above its surface. From here, Mars is both distant and intimate, like a memory you haven't thought of in a long Temay, but instantly recognize when it returns. Long, pale streaks run across its face valleys and canyons carved into rock. Some of them were once riverbeds, scientists think, where water flowed and pooled and slowly disappeared. Imagine gliding over one of those ancient channels now. Below us, A wide groove stretches from horizon to horizon, its edges softened by time and wind. The slopes are sprinkled with stones and dunes, as if someone once poured a stream of water here and then gently pressed pause. There is no rushing current anymore, no sound of waves or rain. Only stillness and the faint whisper of dust slipping across rock. There is a comfort in this long, quiet history. Mars carries the memory of water without needing to bring it back. It does not force itself to become what it once was. It simply holds the evidence in its landscape. Here, something moved. Here, something changed. Here, it all came to rest. You might have your own inner riverbeds, paths you thought your life would follow, plans that once felt full of motion and promise. Some of those streams may have dried up. Some may have curved in directions you didn't expect. It's all right if thinking about them brings a soft ache. Tonight, you don't have to analyze or fix them. You can simply acknowledge that they exist, that they shaped you, and that it's okay for some things to belong to the past. Our ship glides on, and we cross above an immense canyon valleys marineris, so long and deep that it would make any earthly canyon look small by comparison. Yet, from up here, it doesn't feel threatening. The shadows inside it are blue and gentle, like folds in a soft, dark blanket. The sunlight brushes the riem with quiet gold. There is no roar, no rush, only the silent patience of rock that has been here for ages. High above, we pass over a solitary giant, Olympus Mons, a mountain so large that its slopes are wide and gentle rather than sharp. It rises like a sleeping giant under a thin, cold sky. There has been no eruption here for a long time. The mountain simply stands, a record of energy that once surged and has since gone quiet. You, too, have had volcanoes of feeling times when anger, passion, or grief rose like fire inside you. They may have erupted, or they may have stayed hidden, shaping you from within. But just like Olympus Mons, even the strongest of those seasons eventually settles. The heat cools. The surfaces harden. What remains is a structure, a shape that becomes part of your inner landscape, not to threaten you, but to remind you of what you have survived. As we complete our slow arc around Mars, the sun slips low behind the planet, and a soft twilight falls over half its surface. The thin atmosphere scatters the light into muted shades of blue and violet. For a moment, you can imagine standing there at dusk, watching two tiny moons rise in a quiet sky. The air would be cold, the ground firm beneath your feet, the horizon wide and honest. No clutter, no noise, just rock, sky, and the steady turning of a world that keeps going, even in its stillness. Take a slow breath in and out. If there's a part of you that has felt dry lately, like those ancient channels on Mars, let this exhale be a small act of kindness toward it. You don't have to fill every empty space tonight. Sometimes it is enough simply to rest on the surface of your own life, recognizing its valleys, its slopes, its resting places. Gently, our ship turns outward again. Mars, with all its quiet scars and memories, begins to shrink behind us. Between Mars and the next great worlds lies a region that, in stories, often sounds crowded: the asteroid belt. You might picture a chaotic field of rocks bumping and crashing into each other, but the truth is much more peaceful. As we drift into this region, what we see is space-wide, open, calm space with occasional stones and fragments, each following its own path around the sun. The asteroids are leftovers from the early days of the solar system, pieces that never joined to form a planet. Some are as small as boulders. Others are large enough to be considered tiny worlds in their own right. But they are separated by enormous distances. From our vantage point, they appear one by one, slowly, like solitary islands in a vast, dark sea. We pass a stony worldlet, its surface rough but serene, turning lazily in the sunlight. Then, far off, another, a metal-rich fragment that glints faintly, like dull silver. Each piece is a reminder that not everything needs to become something bigger. Some things remain as they are, quiet, incomplete by some standards, yet holy themselves. Maybe you've felt like that, at times like a fragment, like a piece that didn't fit neatly into the larger plans others expected for you. But here, in this belt of wandering stones, there is a kind of freedom in not having fused into a single, solid planet. There is room to drift, to turn gently, to simply exist under the sun's light without needing to be anything more than what you are. Our ship continues its slow journey through this silent archive of beginnings. No collisions, no alarms, just the occasional passing of a distant rock, each one minding its own path. The sun is a little smaller now, but still bright enough to paint the surfaces of these stones with warm highlights and cool shadows. Far ahead, a new presence begins to make itself known, not with noise, but with size. A round shape grows in the distance, striped in soft bands of cream, beige, and muted orange, like a planet painted with long, slow brushstrokes. This is Jupiter, the largest of the planets, a gentle giant from our point of view tonight. As we approach, the details of its cloud bands become clearer, flowing rivers of gas, curved and folded into one another, always moving, yet from here appearing smooth and calm. The famous oval that people on Earth called the Great Red Spot is visible too, a vast storm. Yes, but from our distant, sleepy perspective, it looks like a softly spinning eye of rust and rose, turning with ancient patience. We keep our distance, staying in a quiet orbit where everything feels safe and measured. Around Jupiter, dozens of moons swirl, each tracing its own path. Some are tiny and irregular, like captured stones. Others are large and round, each with its own story. We glide a little closer to 4 of the largest moons, discovered centuries ago by a patient observer with a small telescope: Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Io, the most active, is a world of color and motion. From up here, though, the details blur into a marbled pattern of yellow, orange, and white, like a painting done with soft fingertips. Any volcanic outbursts that happen below are too small and far away to disturb our calm. We only see the overall eye impression, a world that is constantly reshaping itself, restless but contained. Europa, by contrast, looks like a smooth, cracked pearl. Its surface is coated in bright ice, crisscrossed with thin, dark lines that resemble veins of ink in porcelain. Beneath that ice, scientists believe, lies a global ocean of liquid water, an entire hidden sea, wrapped in darkness, warmed by gentle flexing from Jupiter's gravity. Imagine that ocean now, not crashing waves, but deep, slowly shifting water. No sunlight reaches it. Instead, it glows only with faint, internal warmth. Tiny particles drift like snow in the dimness. If anything lives there, it moves without hurry, following rhythms that have nothing to do with human clocks. It is a place of profound, sheltered quiet. Ganymede and Callisto appear as older, more heavily cratered worlds, their surfaces speckled and mottled like worn stone tablets. They, too, may hide oceans beneath their crusts, ancient reservoirs of possibility, kept safe and still under layers of rock and ice. From here, they feel like elderly storytellers dozing by a fire, holding centuries of tales that they are in no rush to tell. Take another slow breath. As you inhale, I imagine drawing in the calm of these moons, their patience, their layered histories. As you exhale, let go of the pressure to have everything figured out right now. Like Europa's ocean or Callisto's hidden layers, there can be parts of your life that remain unresolved for a while, quietly developing beneath the surface. Not every answer needs to rise into the light tonight. We circled Jupiter once, our path smooth and wide. The planet's bands slide beneath us, like slowly turning music. Its moons drift in their orbits, each keeping its distance, each maintaining a respectful rhythm. Together they form a miniature system of their own, a family of worlds bound by gravity and time. You, too, have your own small system of people, memories, and places that orbit your heart. Some are close, some far, some bright, and some more shadowed. They do not always move in perfect harmony. But tonight, you don't have to sort them all out. You can simply acknowledge that they are there, circling quietly, while you rest at the center of your own evening, breathing in and out under an invisible, steady sun. Beyond Jupiter, more worlds await, rings of pale ice, planets that roll on their sides, distant blue giants, and a misty border where the sun's breath fades into the thin air between the stars. We will reach them, gently, in Tium. For now, our ship turns its nose very slightly, adjusting its course toward a golden world encircled by delicate rings, Saturn, waiting for us in the deepening night. Saturn appears first as a faint, golden glow at the edge of our vision, like the memory of a candle in a dark hallway. As we draw closer, that glow sharpens into a clear, breathtaking sight. A pale yellow world wrapped in delicate rings that curve around it like the strokes of a calm painter's brush. From where we drift now, Saturn looks almost too perfect, like a dream of a planet. Something a sleepy mind might invent when it imagines what a world with rings should look like. We slow our approach until we're gliding just above the plane of those rings, our ship coasting along an invisible path. The rings themselves do not roar or crackle. They do not flash or flare. They simply lie there, wide and thin, made of countless pieces of ice and rock that quietly orbit together, forming a shimmering, flat halo. From a distance, the rings looked like unbroken bands of white. But as we move closer, they resolve into countless icy fragments, each one reflecting the sun in its own small way. Some are barely grains of dust. Others are the size of pebbles, boulders, or houses. Together, they create the illusion of something solid and continuous, like a calm sheet of glass. You might have had moments like that in your life, times when something looked seamless from afar, a relationship, a job, a chapter of your story. But up close, it was made of many small pieces, each with its own shape and weight. Saturn's rings are a reminder that even fragile, temporary arrangements can be astonishingly beautiful, even if they never harden into something permanent. We drift above the rings and look down. Sunlight scatters off the ice, sending soft rays of brightness into the darkness. Between the brighter bands, there are thin gaps where fewer particles orbit, creating gentle stripes and shadows. It looks a little like the grooves of an old vinyl record, slowly turning under a quiet needle, which, in a way, it is a record of gravity and time, etched in ice. Scientists think these rings might not last forever. Over long stretches of time, they may thin and fade, their particles slowly spiraling into Saturn or drifting away. The spectacular halo we see now could be just one sparkling moment in the planet's long life, a temporary adornment. There is something softly liberating in that idea. Not everything beautiful is meant to last forever. Some things, like seasons, friendships, certain dreams, and even phases of your own inner life, exist as rings do, luminous for a while, reshaping and disappearing slowly, leaving behind only a memory of how they caught the light. You don't have to hold on to every ring. You don't have to feel guilty when certain patterns in your life change and thin and finally fall away. Our ship continues its quiet glide, and we turn our gaze from the rings to the planet itself. Saturn's atmosphere is banded, like Jupiter's, but its colors are softer, gentle yellows, creams, and hints of gray, like clouds painted in early morning sunlight. Storms swirl here, too, but from this distance, they appear as subtle patterns, more like folds in fabric than threats. We are far away, safe, and our attention is focused not on danger, but on the slow, patient motion of this huge world turning in its sleep. Around Saturn, many moons orbit, each with its own character. Some are small and irregular, like wandering stones. Others are more substantial worlds in miniature. Tonight, we pay special attention to a few that carry particularly quiet stories. There is Enceladus, a small moon that gleams white and bright, as though covered in freshly fallen snow. Its surface is smooth in places, crisscrossed with blue-tinted fractures like lines in cracked ice. Near its south pole, fine jets of water vapor and tiny ice grains stream outward into space, forming a thin, shining plume. Those jets come from an ocean beneath the ice, another hidden sea, warmed by gentle internal forces. Imagine that ocean, dark, cold by human standards, yet not frozen. It lies protected beneath the crust, silent and undisturbed. Everything there moves slowly. If there is any motion at all, it is like the drift of deep currents in a midnight sea. There is something soothing about knowing that such a place exists, a secret, sheltered water world tucked inside a simply shining moon. Farther out, there is Titan, Saturn's largest moon, wrapped in a thick, orange-tinged atmosphere. From space, Titan looks hazy, like a lantern made from frosted glass. Beneath that haze are lakes and rivers, not of water, but of liquid hydrocarbons, flowing and pooling in valleys and basins. Methane rain falls there, carving channels over Time. We don't need to understand every chemical detail tonight. We can simply hold the eye image, another world with clouds and rain, with lakes that reflect a dim sun, with dunes and shores and a sky that looks perpetually like late evening. Titan feels like a dream of another kind of Earth, a distant cousin, forever wrapped in a twilight coat. If you've ever walked through mist or along a shoreline just before dawn, you might imagine Titan as an echo of that feeling. The air thick, the light muted, the world around you softened and blurred at the edges. A place where everything is gentle and slow, and nothing demands that you hurry. Take a breath in. Let it out slowly. As you exhale, I imagine that some of the expectations you've been carrying about how clear everything in your life should be, how solid your plans must feel, are dissolving a little, like haze softening hard outlines. Not everything needs to be sharply defined tonight. Some parts of your story can remain like Titan's surface, suggested, hinted at, wrapped in a comfortable fog until you're ready to see them more clearly. We complete our unhurried swing through Saturn's domain, watching its rings tilt and glitter at different angles as we move. The light changes slowly, like the shifting colors of late afternoon. Behind us, the golden planet gradually shrinks, taking its delicate halo with it. Ahead, the solar system grows quieter and cooler. The sun, though still the center of everything, now appears smaller, more like a bright star than a blazing disk. Our path leads us toward two more giants' worlds of blue and teal, each with its own peculiar grace. The first of these is Uranus. From far away, Uranus looks like a smooth, pale blue sphere, almost featureless. There are no prominent stripes or spots, no dramatic patterns visible to the naked eye. It wears a simple coat of color, like a marble dipped in soft turquoise. But one thing about Uranus is immediately unusual. It is tipped dramatically on its side. While most planets spin like tops upright, Uranus rolls along its orbit more like a ball that has been gently knocked over. Its axis of rotation lies close to its orbital plane, which means that for long stretches of time, one hemisphere faces the sun in prolonged daylight, while the other is wrapped in extended night. Its seasons last for years and years, moving at a pace that is hard to imagine from our quick, human perspective. There is a quiet lesson here about difference. Uranus does not spin like the others, and yet it remains part of the same system, following its path, completing its vast, slow orbit. It is not wrong. It is simply tilted. Perhaps you, too, have felt tilted at times, out of sync with what you thought life should look like. But, in the greater map of things, such tilts can create their own rhythms, their own long, strange seasons that still make sense in the larger pattern. As we drift near Uranus, we can also glimpse the faint suggestion of its rings, much thinner and darker than Saturn's. Subtle bands of material circling the planet. They are not as showy or obvious, but they exist, quiet and reserved, like jewelry worn on the inside of a sleeve. Not every gift in the cosmos is meant to be immediately dazzling. Some are whisper soft, easily missed unless you take the time to look closely. Our ship glides on, and the blue of Uranus begins to fade into the distance. Ahead, another blue world waits, deeper in hue and wrapped in a slightly more vivid mystery, Neptune. Neptune's color is a darker, richer blue, like deep ocean water seen under a cloudless sky. From here, we can see faint, ghostly bands and spots in its atmosphere patterns made by winds and clouds that race around the planet. But again, from our calm, distant vantage point, they appear as gentle streaks of shifting shade, not as chaos. We simply watch the slow turning of a blue globe, suspended at the far edge of the planetary family. Somewhere inside Neptune's thick, cold layers, scientists suspect that carbon may be pressed into diamonds, forming sparkling fragments that drift and sink through the planet's interior. Imagine that for a moment. Not a storm of destruction, but a slow rainfall of glittering crystals, falling through dark blue depths where no eye will ever see them directly. Beauty happening quietly, without audience or applause. In your own life, there have likely been moments like that, quiet acts of kindness no one witnessed, private insights you never shared, small acts of courage that belonged only to you. They may never be seen or recognized by the wider world, but they still exist, shining in the deep blue interior of who you are. You do not need a spotlight for them to matter. We pause here, near Neptune, and let the scene sink in. Behind us lie the bright inner worlds, the gas giants, the rings and moons and hidden oceans. Ahead, the sun's influence begins to thin, and the spaces between small, icy bodies grow wider. We are reaching the outskirts now, the threshold where the familiar solar system slowly melts into the broader, star-filled galaxy. Take another breath in, and slowly out. If your eyes are heavy, that's all right. You don't need to stay fully awake for the rest of this journey. The story will keep moving gently forward, whether your mind is floating with it or drifting into dreams. Out here, at the edge of the known planets, The pace is slower than ever. Distances are huge. Changes are subtle. And everything feels wrapped in a soft, cosmic hush. Beyond Neptune, a faint, icy mist of small worlds is waiting for us. The Kuiper Belt, Pluto, and other frozen wanderers. We will visit them next, moving ever so quietly through this ancient, distant region where the sun is no longer a blazing presence, but a soft star behind us, still guiding the way. Beyond Neptune, the darkness feels different. It is not empty. Nothing in space is truly empty, but it is quieter. The light of the sun has grown faint, more like a distant lantern than a blazing star. Shadows are softer here, and the stars around us seem sharper, as if the thinning sunlight has stepped back to let them shine more clearly. We drift into a region called the Kuiper Belt, a wide, the gentle ring of icy worlds circling the sun at great distance. People once imagined it as a crowded field of tumbling blocks. But from our little ship, what we see is far more peaceful. Long stretches of dark, with occasional small, pale shapes slowly turning in the cold. The objects out here are leftovers from the early days of the solar system, pieces of ice and rock that never became full-size planets. They are like old boxes in the attic of a house, filled with clues about what things were like when everything was just beginning. Some are small and irregular. Others are round enough to be called dwarf planets. All of them move at an unhurried pace, tracing their enormous circles around the sun over centuries. Ahead of us shines one such world, faint but unmistakable, Pluto. From this distance, Pluto is a tiny pearl set in black velvet. As we come closer, its surface reveals itself as a patchwork of light and dark. There are regions as bright as fresh snow, and others tinted in subtle shades of tan and rust, colored by frozen gases and complex molecules shaped by distant sunlight. On one side of Pluto lies a vast, heart-shaped region of bright ice. When humans first saw it in detail, they were struck by how unmistakably it resembled a heart, an accidental symbol carved by geology and team. Scientists call it a basin of nitrogen ice, sculpted by slow currents and sublimation. Tonight, though, we can simply call it what it looks like, Pluto's quiet heart. Imagine drifting above that heart now. Beneath us sprawls a frozen plain, smooth in some areas, cracked into gentle polygons in others, like the surface of cooling cream. Faint mists of evaporating nitrogen may rise and fall with the weak sunlight, but everything moves slowly. A day here is long. A year Pluto's complete circuit around the sun takes about 248 Earth years. No one alive sees Pluto return to the same place in the sky twice in their lifetime. Its seasons unfold on a scale that makes even the oldest human feel very young. There is a strange comfort in that. Our worries often feel endless. Our to-do lists stretch longer than we think we can manage. Yet, when held up against Pluto's leisurely orbit, any single year in our lives is a brief, delicate thread. Not meaningless, but small enough that it doesn't have to carry everything. You are allowed to set some things down. You are allowed to take one quiet night for yourself, even in the middle of an unfinished story. Pluto does not travel alone. It is accompanied by Charon, a large moon that orbits so closely and is so massive compared to Pluto that the two bodies actually revolve around a point between them, like partners in a slow, careful dance. From the surface of Pluto, Charon would loom huge in the sky, a dark, cratered companion always facing the same side, never turning its back. As we watch from our drifting ship, Pluto and Charon circle together, bound by gravity and May. They are an odd pair, far from the warmth of the sun, yet they keep each other company in the cold. Their shared orbit is a reminder that even in remote places, connections form. Even in the outskirts, there are quiet partnerships, slow and steady. You, too, might have people like that, souls who orbit close to you, even when the rest of the world feels distant. You may also be that companion for someone else, simply by existing, by being a steady presence in their sky. You don't always have to shine brightly or know exactly what to say. Sometimes just sharing the orbit is enough. We leave Pluto and Charon to their long dance and continue outward. The Kuiper belt extends far beyond them, filled with other frozen worlds: Eris, Makemake, Haumea, and many smaller bodies whose names and shapes are still being discovered. We do not need to visit each one. Instead, we drift through the region as a whole, letting its mood sink in, a quiet, distant archive of ice and rock, gently circling a sun that now looks small and delicate. Eventually, the density of objects begins to thin. The known dwarf planets become rarer, like the last lanterns on the edge of a sleeping town. Beyond this point, scientists believe there may be an even larger cloud of icy bodies, a vast, spherical halo called the Oort cloud. Its members are so distant and faint that they are more idea than image, more whispered possibility than confirmed fact. We won't try to see them individually tonight. Instead, we'll simply imagine them, countless icy seeds drifting in the dark, loosely bound to the sun, ready to wander inward as comets over millions of years, or drift outward toward other stars. Far from being a clean line, the edge of the solar system seems to be a soft border, a long, quiet fading. At some point in this fading region, the sun's wind, a continuous stream of charged particles flowing outward, finally slows down and yields to the thin gas that fills the space between stars. This boundary has a name: the heliopause. It is not a solid wall, but a zone where one influence gently gives way to another, like the place in the ocean where a river's fresh water blends into salty sea. Our little ship drifts through this imagined heliopause. On one side, the sun's breath is still the dominant whisper. On the other, the whispers of other stars begin to mingle with it. The sun, from here, is just one bright point among many, still your star, still the source of your daylight and warmth, but now clearly a part of a much larger, glittering community. Somewhere near this boundary in reality, already beyond it, two small human-made objects are traveling. The Voyager spacecraft, launched in the late 1970 seconds. They flew past Jupiter and Saturn, sending home stunning e-images, then continued outward, past the planets, into the space between stars. On board each Voyager is a golden record, a metal disc containing sounds and images from Earth, greetings in many languages, music from various cultures, the rustle of wind, the sound of surf, the pulse of a human heartbeat. It is, in a sense, a message in a bottle, cast by a young civilization into a vast, dark sea. Imagine one of those craft now, far beyond the orbits of the planets, moving silently through the thin, invisible medium between stars. There is no engine firing, no loud activity, just a slow coast, guided by momentum and gravity. The golden record is sealed inside, turning occasionally as the spacecraft rotates, its grooves patiently holding every note of music, every recorded voice. Even if no one is there to listen, there is something profoundly gentle about that image. Our species, small and fragile, built two tiny emissaries, gave them each a quiet gift of sound and picture, and set them adrift with no guarantee that anyone would ever find them. The act itself was enough. It was a way of saying, "We are here." This is a little of what we love. If you ever meet this record, know that someone once cared enough to send it. You might have done something similar in your life, in your own way. Maybe you wrote a letter you never sent. Maybe you cooked a meal for someone who never knew how much it cost you to show up. Maybe you stood by a friend at a time when they were too overwhelmed to thank you properly. These gestures are like golden records, small, beautiful capsules of care, released into the world with no guarantee of recognition. They still matter. They still carry your tenderness out beyond the boundaries of what you can see. Here, at the imaginary side of Voyager, we pause. We picture the spacecraft not as a lonely object, but as a quiet lantern sailing through the dark. Its radio signals grow weaker with distance, but for a long time, they continued to whisper data back to Earth, measurements of charged particles, magnetic fields, the subtle changes as it moved from the sun's domain into interstellar space. Even as its instruments age and its power fades, the golden record remains, protected, waiting. Perhaps no one will ever play it. Or perhaps, someday far beyond our imagining, some curious beings will pick it up, study its strange markings, and listen. Whether that happens or not, the record already did something important for us. It helped us see ourselves as one world, one sound, one fragile blue dot speaking softly into the dark. Take a slow breath in and out. As you exhale, imagine releasing some of the pressure you've felt to be understood, to be perfectly heard or perfectly seen. Some of your efforts, like that golden record, may travel farther than you know. Some may never seem to come back in obvious ways. That doesn't make them meaningless. Not every act of love or kindness needs an audience or an echo. Sometimes, the act of sending is enough. From our vantage point at the edge of the heliosphere, we turn back for a moment and look inward. The solar system, which once felt immeasurably large when we stood on Earth and looked up, now appears almost delicate. The orbits of the planets are thin loops of light encircling a modest star. The giant worlds we visited, with their storms and rings and moons, fit neatly within a small patch of the galaxy's vast fabric. Astronomers tell us that the entire solar system is itself journeying, slowly, around the center of our galaxy. One full circuit, a galactic year, takes on the order of hundreds of millions of Earth years. This means that in all of human history, our world has not yet completed even a single lap around the Milky Way. We are children of a very long voyage, living for a short moment on a small dot that is still only partway through its first grand turn. Rather than make us feel insignificant, this perspective can offer relief. If the arc of the solar system's story stretches over such immense time scales, then the anxieties of our days, months, and even years can be held gently within it. They do not vanish, but they shrink to a size that feels more manageable, more forgivable. You are a brief but real flicker in a much longer light. You do not have to carry the weight of the universe on your shoulders. The universe is already carrying you. Here, at the threshold between our sun's influence and the wider galaxy, you are invited to rest. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark. Yours, too. If tonight's journey has stirred a memory, a night under unfamiliar stars, a long trip home, a quiet moment when you felt both small and safe, you can let that memory hover gently at the edge of your awareness. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to analyze it. Just let it glow faintly, like starlight seen through a window, while you continue to breathe. Ahead of us lies the broader galaxy, with its rivers of stars and clouds of glowing gas. Behind us, the solar system continues its patient turning, from Mercury's scorched craters to Pluto's icy heart. In the next part of our journey, we won't travel to every distant star. Instead, we'll drift just a little way into the Milky Way, letting its slow, spiraling rhythm guide us into even deeper calm. For now, settle once more into the feeling of your body resting. Feel the contact points with your bed or couch, the back of your head, your shoulders, your hips, your legs. Notice how the surface supports you without asking anything in return. You have traveled far in your imagination tonight, and yet you have not had to move at all. That is the quiet magic of stories. They let you explore without leaving the warm, safe harbor of where you are. Breathe in gently. Breathe out a little longer. The solar system grows small behind us. The galaxy opens like a slow, silver flower ahead. And you, nestled between them in this moment, are exactly where you need to be. From the edge of the solar system, we turn very gently toward the wider sea that has always surrounded us. The sun, which once filled our sky and our thoughts, now looks like any other bright star behind us. A single spark among billions. Its light still touches us, but the darkness between stars is vast, and the distances we are imagining now are almost impossible to hold in the mind. That's all right. You don't have to understand them. You only have to let the feeling of very big, very slow, very quiet settle around you like a soft blanket. Ahead, the Milky Way stretches across the darkness like a river of light. You might have seen it from a dark place on Earth, a pale band arching across the sky. made of so many stars that they blur into a luminous fog. From here, drifting between those stars, we see it from the inside, a great, thin disk of starlight, gas, and dust, spiraling slowly around a distant center. We are not racing across it. We are simply gliding just a little way, as if stepping from the shoreline into the shallow part of an enormous, quiet lake. Our little ship sails through a region where stars are scattered like lanterns in the night. Some are the warm color of candle flames. Others are white and crisp, and a few glow blue, hot and bright. Between them lies so much space that each star could have entire worlds, entire stories, spinning around it without ever bumping into its neighbors. Somewhere among these scattered lights is our own sun, continuing its long, slow circle around the galaxy's center. Astronomers place our solar system in one of the spiral arms, a kind of glowing lane where stars and gas gather and drift together. You can imagine these arms as broad, gentle streams within the river of the Milky Way, each one turning with the others in a rotation so slow that no human will ever see it complete. There is a strange calm in knowing that. While you worry about days and deadlines, the galaxy moves on a time scale that turns even centuries into small ripples. Your entire lifetime is like a quiet breath in the long exhale of a cosmic spiral. Not insignificant, simply light and brief, like the shimmer of a wave in moonlight. As we continue our soft voyage, a faint glow begins to appear ahead of us, not from stars, exactly, but from something more diffuse. It looks, at first, like a smudge on the darkness, a pale cloud. As we approach, the cloud reveals itself to be a nebula, a vast region of gas and dust, stretched across space like a slow, colorful mist. In reality, many nebulae would appear very faint to human eyes. But tonight, in our gentle story, we allow ourselves to see them as the best long-exposure cameras do, glowing in hues of rose, lavender, and soft teal. Filaments of gossamer gas curl and weave like strands of silk in water. Dark lanes of dust thread through the glow, tracing intricate patterns. This is a stellar nursery, a place where new stars are born. Over immense spans of time, gravity gently gathers the gas and dust in certain regions, pulling them into denser knots. As those knots compress, they heat up. Eventually, in some of them, nuclear fusion begins, and a new star ignites, shining into the surrounding cloud. It is easy to imagine this as something explosive and violent, but from our slow, sleepy vantage point, it feels more like watching lanterns gradually being lit in a foggy valley. Here and there, a point of light brightens and punches a tiny hole in the mist. Over millions of years, more lights appear, slowly clearing away some of the gas around them, while the rest drifts on, waiting for its own quiet turning. You might let yourself think, just for a moment, about the atoms in your own body, the hydrogen in the water you drink, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood. Those atoms were once part of clouds like this, long before Earth existed. They drifted, gathered, were heated in the hearts of stars, and later released back into space when those stars ended their long lives. Then they found their way into new stars, new planets, new oceans, new living things. Tonight, you don't have to follow every step of that journey. All you need to feel is the sense that you are, in a very real way, made of starlight that has cooled and slowed and learned to breathe. The universe did not hurry to make you. It took its time, circling through cycles of birth and rest and transformation, until one day, on a small blue world, some of that stardust opened its eyes and became you. If you have ever felt like you are behind in life, like you haven't done enough or become enough by a certain age, you might let this thought rest on your chest like a feather. The atoms that make you are billions of years old. They have waited through more cycles and seasons than we can count. It is all right if you take a little time to heal, to change, to decide who you want to be next. You are not in a race. You are part of a very long, very patient story. We drift deeper into the nebula. The light here is soft and even, with no sharp shadows. Dust motes, really, grains and clumps of heavier elements float in the thin gas, catching the glow of newborn stars. In some regions, the gas is thinner, and we can see through to the starfields behind. In others, it thickens into dark knots that obscure the view, like clouds covering a city on a rainy night. If you like, you can imagine that this nebula is not just a place in space, but a reflection of your inner world. There are parts of you that are clear and easy to see, bright stars of memory and certainty. And there are parts that are still cloudy, still forming. Thoughts that haven't settled yet. Feelings that haven't found the right words. Plans that are not ready to be born. Tonight, you do not need to force clarity. You can allow some parts of your mind to remain like those dark knots of dust, present, but not yet illuminated, waiting for their own gentle unfolding. Not every region of your inner sky has to be blazing with light. Some of it can be under construction, or even under a quiet fog. We continue sailing, and the nebula gradually thins. Behind us, its glowing curves recede into the distance, leaving us once again among scattered stars. Ahead, we pass groups of stars born from the same cloud, still gathered together like siblings. They sparkle in loose arrangements, some rich and dense, others sparse, each moving slowly along its own path around the galaxy. Some stars are very young, burning hot and blue. Others are older, cooler, shining with a steady, golden light. A few have already entered their later stages, expanding into gentle red giants that will one day shed their outer layers back into space. Out of these layers, new nebulae will form, and the cycle will continue. If you've ever looked at an old photograph of yourself and felt a strange mixture of affection and sadness seeing the younger person you once were, with their hopes and worries, you already know something about stellar evolution. We change, but we carry our earlier versions within us. Each phase, each version, is part of a longer arc. You might think of the times in your life when you shone in certain ways, when you felt strong, or needed, or full of energy. And you might also think of the times when you felt dimmer, quieter, more inward. Rather than judging these shifts, you can look at them as the natural phases of a human star. Sometimes radiating outward, sometimes gently folding in, sometimes letting go so that something new can be formed from the pieces. Our ship passes a red giant star now. It sits in the darkness like a warm coal, radiating soft, reddish light. Its outer layers are puffed out and tenuous, slowly drifting away into space. There is no explosion here in our vision, no sudden catastrophe, just a long, slow exhale. The gas that floats away glows gently for a time, then will eventually mix back into the galactic medium, ready to become part of future stars and planets. You may have had your own long exhales, chapters of life that slowly loosened and drifted away, a job you once gave your best to, a relationship that lived its full season, a version of yourself that no longer fits. Letting those go can feel like loss, but it also makes room, in time, for something new. You don't have to rush that something new. Like the gas around this star, your released stories can float for a while before they become part of anything again. We move on, crossing regions where the star density thins, then thickens again. The galaxy is not uniform. It is textured, full of arms and gaps, clusters and lonely wanderers. In that way, it is not so different from a human life, or from the network of people and stories that surround you. Some parts are crowded with events and connections. Others are spacious and quiet. There is no single correct distribution. Take a slow breath in and out. If your body feels heavier now, that is natural. The longer you lie still, the more your muscles and bones remember that they can, for a while. Let gravity hold all your weight. You may feel your limbs sinking more deeply into the mattress. You may notice that your breathing has become shallower and slower without you trying to change it. These are signs that your nervous system is finally being allowed to rest. Our ship tilts ever so slightly, giving us a tilted view of a spiral arm sweeping away into the distance. You can see the faint outline of the galaxy's structure now, a bright central region, like the glowing core of a lantern, and arms that curl outward, populated by stars and clouds. The whole thing turns so slowly that, if you tried to watch it, you would never see it move. But if you could step outside Time, compress millions of years into a few seconds, you would see the Milky Way spinning like a slow, luminous pinwheel. We won't do that. We will instead stay here, in one small moment, watching a nearly motionless frame from that vast rotation. In this frame, everything is exactly where it needs to be. The galaxy does not hurry itself. It does not worry about how much it has accomplished. It just turns, quietly, supported by the invisible pull of gravity and the visible glow of its own stars. You, too, are allowed to have moments like this, moments where you don't evaluate your progress or your performance, where you don't measure how far you've come or how far you still have to go. Moments when you simply exist, breathing, held in place by the soft pull of your own life, glowing just enough for tonight. Soon, we will begin to turn gently back toward home, retracing our imagination's steps from the galactic outskirts, back through the solar system, until we return to your room, to your bed, to the feeling of your own heartbeat in the dark. But before we do, we linger here for a few more breaths, suspended in a sea of distant suns. If tonight's story has sparked a quiet sense of connection, maybe to the sky, maybe to your younger self, maybe to the idea that you are part of something both immense and kind, you can let that feeling rest in you without trying to name it. Like starlight that has traveled for a long time to reach your eyes. The meaning might arrive slowly. You don't have to catch it all right away. Breathe in, breathe out, a little longer. The Milky Way continues its silent turning. Our tiny ship floats, unhurried, among its stars. And you, somewhere on a small blue planet, nested within this vast spiral, are getting ready to sink into a deeper, quieter sleep out here, where the Milky Way spreads around us like a quiet ocean of light. Time begins to feel different. On Earth, we divide it into neat pieces, hours, days, weeks, years. We mark birthdays, deadlines, anniversaries. Clocks tick on walls, numbers change on screens, and our sense of being late or on time wraps itself tightly around these human measurements. But in the galaxy, time is measured in much larger, softer strokes. Our entire solar system, with all its planets and moons and rings, is making a slow journey around the center of the Milky Way. One complete circuit, one galactic year, takes hundreds of millions of Earth years. In all the history you've ever read about, in all the stories of empires and revolutions and discoveries, our world has not yet completed a single lap. We are still somewhere along our first long spiral. You don't need to remember the numbers. Just let the feeling of that sink in. The galaxy turns like a slow, luminous wheel, and our lives are brief gleamers along its ream, bright enough to matter to us and to the people who love us, light enough not to burden the wheel as it turns. As our little ship drifts between the stars, imagine you could see trails behind each one, faint, glowing lines recording the path it has taken over millions of years. Some trails curve in broad, graceful spirals. Others form subtle waves as stars move up and down through the disk of the galaxy. Together, they create a tapestry of motion, too slow for any one creature to watch, yet perfectly smooth when seen from a distance. Your life has trails like that, too. If you could step outside yourself and look back, you would see the path you've taken, not just the big events you remember easily, but the countless small turns and pauses and hesitations that led you here. You might see moments that felt like dead ends at the Time, revealed as gentle curves into something new. You might notice that your hardest seasons, the ones that seemed to stall you, were actually parts of a longer arc that softened you, opened you, taught you how to care. When was the last Time? A small, ordinary detail of your day felt unexpectedly meaningful. Maybe it was the way sunlight hit a cup on your table. Maybe it was a sentence you overheard on the street. Maybe it was a song you hadn't heard in years, suddenly playing in a cafe and bringing an old memory back like a warm wave. Those little moments are like stars in your own inner sky, tiny points of light that, if you connected them gently, might reveal a constellation of who you are becoming. We float past a region where stars are more widely spaced. Here and there, we see a lone star shining without obvious companions. It is not truly alone. Gravity still links it to the galaxy as a whole, but its nearest neighbors are far. From our ship, it looks like a single, quiet flame in a large, dark room. You might have felt like that sometimes. A point of light in a space that feels too big. Your nearest emotional neighbors, not as close as you wish. On those nights, it can be comforting to remember that even a lonely star is still held by the galaxy's invisible arms. Still moving along with everything else. Still part of a larger pattern. You, too, are surrounded by more connection than you can always feel. The accumulated kindnesses of others. The memories of those who have cared for you. The simple fact that you share your existence with countless beings who are also trying, in their own way, to find rest. As we drift, we pass by a cluster of stars that form together from the same cloud. They are still grouped, still moving through space as a family, even though their distances grow as Time goes on. Some of them are brighter, some dimmer, but they share a common origin. You may have people like that in your life, a group you started with. Maybe it was your childhood family, your classmates, your early colleagues, your first circle of friends. Over time, you each moved along your own paths. Some stayed closer, some drifted far. You changed, they changed, and the distances between you expanded or shrank in quiet ways. It is easy to feel guilty about drifting away, or hurt when others drift from you. But if you look at star clusters, you see a different perspective. Drifting is not a failure. It is part of motion itself. What matters is not that everyone stays in exactly the same place, but that, for a team, your paths touched and shaped each other. That shared origin remains part of your story, even if you hardly speak now. Our ship tilts, and we once again catch sight of a dusty band, another nebula, thinner and less dramatic than the last. A soft smudge against the star field. This time, instead of diving in, we simply skim past it, observing how it gently veils the light behind it. Some stars disappear entirely behind the dust. Others are dimmed, their brightness reduced to a faint glow. If you looked only with your eyes, you might think there was nothing there but darkness. But we know that behind the dust, the stars still shine. Their light is only hidden, not gone. In your own life, there may have been times when your inner light felt dimmed, moments when grief, exhaustion, or worry wrapped itself around you like a cloud. You might have believed, in those moments, that your light was gone, that you had nothing left to offer. But if the universe has taught us anything, it is that light is stubborn. It travels, it bends, it hides, it reflects, but it does not simply disappear. Even on nights when you can't feel your own warmth, it is still there, behind the dust, waiting for conditions to shift. You don't have to force it to shine. You don't have to prove your brightness to anyone tonight. It is enough to know that your light exists, stubborn and quiet, under whatever clouds may be passing. We continue our slow tour, and the galaxy's center becomes a vague glow in the distance. It's a dense region, full of stars packed more closely together, swirling around a massive, invisible object. But we stay far from there. Our AEM tonight is not to plunge into extremes, but to learn from the soft edges, the outskirts, the arms, the calm spaces where motion is gentle and the view is wide. From here, you can imagine the entire galaxy as a kind of clock, if you like. Not a clock of minutes or hours, but of epochs. Each spin of the spiral arms is a vast sweep of Time. Our solar system is a tiny point on one of those arms, carrying our sun and planets along like specks on a slowly turning wheel. Think of your own life again in this context. The decisions that weigh on you, the memories that replay in your mind, the anxieties that keep you awake, they all sit on a very small segment of that wheel. This doesn't make them trivial. It simply reminds you that they are contained. They are not infinite. They are part of a pattern that began long before you and will continue long after. Sometimes, when you are tangled in your own timeline, it can help to imagine stepping back, far back, until your entire life appears as a single glowing thread on the galaxy's realm. From that distance, what stands out is not the exact dates or the specific mistakes, but the overall color of the thread, the love you've given, the times you tried again after failing, the quiet moments of kindness you offered even when you were tired. If this story has brought you even a small sense of that wider view, you can let it rest somewhere in the back of your mind, like a star you know is there, even when you're not looking at it. Our little ship begins to turn now, not sharply, not suddenly, but with the same slow grace that governs everything out here. We orient ourselves so that, if you trace an imaginary line from our bow, it leads back toward the sun, back toward the faint, familiar glow of our own spiral arm, back toward the tiny blue world where your body lies resting. The journey home, in our imagination, will be faster, but only because we are folding the map. We will not rush. We will simply allow the idea of coming closer, of returning, to settle in alongside your growing sleepiness. As we turn, the stars do not move all at once. They seem to rotate very slowly around us, like the ceiling of a planetarium, only gentler. Constellations you might know from Earth appear now in new orientations, their shapes warped by our position. The story patterns humans have drawn on the sky for centuries bears. Hunters, birds, and heroes are revealed to be just that, stories, helpful maps laid over scattered points of light. From here, you see how fluid they are, how flexible. In the same way, the stories you tell yourself about your own life, about what you must be, about what you are allowed to feel, are also patterns drawn between events. They can be helpful for a time, but they are not the only possible shapes. With a small shift in perspective, you could connect the same points differently and see a new picture. You are not locked forever into the first story your mind offered you. Tonight, you don't need to rewrite your narrative. That is work for another day, if and when you feel ready. Tonight, you can simply allow the possibility that your story is more flexible, more forgiving than you might have believed, that there are gentler constellations waiting to be drawn. Take another slow breath in and let it out. Can you feel how your body has changed since we began? Perhaps your arms are heavier, your hands warmer, your jaw looser. Maybe your eyelids flutter a little as they hover between wakefulness and sleep. You have been listening and imagining, but you have also been slowly descending, like a ship lowering itself toward the surface of a calm sea. We will begin our return in the next part, slipping quietly back into the solar system, shrinking the galaxy down to a soft glow behind us, and finding our way again to the small, blue world that feels, despite everything, like home. For now, you are suspended in the turning of the Milky Way, held by gravity you cannot feel, surrounded by light that took millions of years to reach you. And yet, at the same TMA, you are simply lying where you are, on your bed or couch, following the rise and fall of your own breath. Both are true. Both are enough. Very slowly, almost imperceptibly, our little ship begins to turn. We have been floating in the wide, soft arms of the galaxy, watching stars and nebulae and the long, patient dance of Time. Now, with a movement as gentle as the tilt of your head on your pillow, we orient ourselves toward home. Not with urgency, not with the sharp snap of a decision, but with the quiet certainty of a tide turning. Far behind us, the bright center of the Milky Way glows like a distant city at night. Around us, the stars remain scattered and still, each following its own invisible path. As we begin our return, nothing explodes, nothing shudders. The stars don't rush past. They simply slide, slowly, like lanterns on a faraway shore as you drift down a calm river. Somewhere in that river is the faint, familiar star we call the sun. We can't see it yet, not clearly. For now, it's just an idea, a point we are moving toward, a place where warmth and daylight and one small, blue planet await. You don't need to picture the whole route. The story will carry you. You are allowed to relax into it the way you might relax into a gentle train ride. Eyes half closed, trusting that the tracks know where they're going. As we drift, you might notice how different your body feels compared to when we began. Your breathing has likely grown slower, your muscles heavier. Perhaps your thoughts, which were once sharp and busy, have spread out, like ink diffusing through water. This is exactly what this journey is meant to do. Not fill your mind with facts, but soften it. Give it space. Let it float. The galaxy around us begins to blur at the edges, not because it has changed, but because we are gently choosing to focus closer. It's like choosing to notice your own heartbeat instead of the distant hum of traffic. Like deciding, at the end of a long day, to watch the way the lamplight falls across your bedroom wall instead of scrolling through one more page of noise. In the distance ahead, the glow of a familiar bubble appears. It is not bright like a star, but more like the outline of a faint shell, the region where the sun's influence, its wind of charged particles, pushes against the thin gas between the stars. We are approaching the heliopause from the outside. On this side, the whispers of distant stars mingle freely. On the other, the sun's breath begins to dominate again, creating a soft cocoon around the planets. We drift toward that boundary, the way a small boat might move from the open sea back toward a river mouth, where the water becomes subtly different, less salty, less wild, more familiar. As we cross the heliopause, I imagine, if you like, that you are stepping from the vast, abstract worries of the whole universe back into the more tangible concerns of your own life. But now, those concerns are changed by the distance you've had. They've been placed in a larger frame. They are still there, but they may feel a little less overwhelming, as if someone has quietly turned down their volume. The sun's presence grows slowly stronger, though we still see it only as a bright star ahead. The scattered icy objects of the outer regions begin to thicken again, forming the faint ring of the Kuiper Belt. We pass, in our imagination, by Pluto once more, its heart-shaped plane of nitrogen ice turned slightly in a different angle of light. Pluto continues its slow orbit, unbothered by our passing. It doesn't know we've been here. It doesn't need to. Its role is simply to be, to turn, to keep time in its own unhurried way. You might think of a place in your own life that feels like Pluto, a distant, quiet region of memory or feeling that doesn't need constant attention. Perhaps it is an old dream you've put aside, or a childlike wonder you visit only occasionally. It doesn't have to be at the center of everything to matter. It can sit peacefully at the outskirts, a soft reminder that not all of you needs to be active and productive. Some parts of you are allowed to simply exist. We continue inward. The Kuiper Belt thins behind us, its icy fragments fading back into the dark. The sun is now noticeably brighter, though still small. Around us, the space between worlds is still vast, but the pattern begins to feel familiar again. Ahead lie Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, old friends we passed earlier on our way out. We will not linger long at each one this May. Instead, we will drift by them the way you might glance at familiar landmarks on your way home from work. The corner cafe, the tree with the twisted trunk, the little bridge over the canal. You don't have to stop to feel reassured by their presence. Just seeing them is enough to tell you that you are on your way. There, off to our side, is Neptune, a deep, quiet blue in the dark. We remember the thought of diamond rain inside it, beautiful crystals falling in places no one will ever see. As we glide past, you might recall your own hidden acts of beauty, the kindnesses you've offered in secret, the small, gentle decisions that no one else knows about. They are still there, glittering in the deep interior of your life, even if no one applauds them. A little closer to the sun, Uranus appears, its pale blue face turned softly on its side. Its unusual tilt is still there, its long seasons still unfolding. Passing by, we might smile at the idea that even in the well-ordered ballet of planets, there is room for someone who spins differently. There is room for you, even on days when you feel out of step with everyone else. Next comes Saturn, its rings catching the distant sunlight like a thin band of frost. From here, the rings are less detailed, more like a glowing halo, still beautiful, but clearly fragile. We remember that they are temporary, a passing adornment in the long life of the planet. We remember that some things in our own lives are like that too, exquisite for a time, then gone. As we drift by, you might think briefly of a ring in your story, something that once circled you with beauty or intensity, and then fell away. A phase, a project, a relationship, a version of yourself. You don't have to relive it. You can simply acknowledge that it was real and that it was allowed to end. The fact that it was temporary does not erase its beauty. Farther in, Jupiter comes into view, striped with soft bands of cream and brown. Its moons orbit in their patient paths, some hiding oceans, some marked with craters. We pass by them like a train passing through a lit station at night, glimpsing scenes through windows, Europa's cracked ice, Ganymede's mottled plains, Io's marbled colors without stepping off. Here, the lesson is not new, only repeated, even in a single system. There can be many worlds, many stories, many forms of quiet existence. Your life, too, is not just one flat surface. It has layers and moons and hidden seas. It is okay if you have not explored them all. It is okay if you never will. There is dreamy, and there is also the freedom to leave some things as mystery. Between Jupiter and Mars lies the asteroid belt, once more revealing itself not as a chaotic crowd, but as a sparse collection of wandering stones. We drift through without incident, watching a few lonely rocks turn slowly in the sunlight. They remind us, again, that not everything has to join something bigger. Some parts of us may always remain small, independent, quietly circling in their own orbits. That is not failure. That is simply another way to be. Then, as we move inward, Mars appears, the rust-colored world with its vast canyons and sleeping volcanoes. We see again the old riverbeds carved into its surface, now empty and silent. Instead of sadness, they evoke a kind of peace. The water that once flowed there is gone, but the grooves it left have become part of Mars's identity. You might think of your own emotional riverbeds, paths you once walked with great passion, projects or loves that once carried you with their current. Some of them may now be dry. Tonight, you don't need to refill them. You can simply rest on the knowledge that they shaped you, and that even in their absence, you still carry what you learned from their flow. Beyond Mars, the blue-white light of Earth begins to glimmer ahead. Tiny at first, then growing. The moon circles nearby, tireless and calm. As we approach, the sun behind them becomes too bright to look at directly, washing the edges of the planets in soft halos. We are returning to the inner, warmer rooms of our cosmic house. Take a slow breath in and let it out. As we come closer to Earth, imagine looking down again on the familiar swirls of cloud and sea. Night blankets one side, and you can see the thin web of city lights glowing faintly, each one a tiny point where someone is awake, or falling asleep, or working a night shift, or whispering in the dark. On the daylit side, there are mountains, forests, plains, and oceans, all going about their business without rush, waves breaking, trees growing, winds moving across fields. From up here, no single schedule dominates. No one email, no one appointment, no one late bill can be seen. What is visible is the whole, a living world, fragile and beautiful, carrying billions of small stories on its surface. Yours is one of them. We allow our ship to fall gently toward Earth now, like a leaf returning to the surface of a pond. We don't have to aim at a specific city or street. We simply trust that, in this story, we will find our way back to the place where your body already lies. As we descend, the blue of the oceans grows deeper, the white of clouds brightens, and the faint line of atmosphere becomes visible, a thin, glowing shell of air that holds in warmth and life. That atmosphere is easy to forget when you are living inside it. You breathe without thinking. You look through it at the sky and assume the stars will always be there. But from this perspective, it is like a transparent blanket wrapped around the planet, gentle and necessary. It reminds us of the invisible things that support you every day, the care of people you may have stopped noticing, the resilience of your own body, the countless systems quietly working behind the scenes so that you can wake up each morning and move through your life. We slip softly into that blanket now. The stars fade as the sky grows brighter. Blues and purples bloom overhead, then deepen, then soften into the dark of local night. Below, patterns of streets and houses appear, small and regular. Windows glow here and there. Cars move along roads like slow, wandering fireflies. Somewhere among them is your room, your bed, your familiar constellation of personal objects, a lamp, a shelf, a chair, perhaps a book or a glass of water near your pillow. Our ship, never truly separate from you, because it was always made of your imagination, now fades into this scene. You are not landing so much as remembering where you have been all along. The journey through space has folded gently back into the simple reality of your own breathing in the dark. If your eyes are heavy, you can let them stay that way. You don't need to open them to confirm the room around you. You know it by heart. The blanket against your skin, the pillow beneath your head, the subtle sounds of your environment, all of these are your Earth, your home planet, your small patch of ground in the vastness of everything. In the next part, we will walk more slowly through this homecoming, turning our attention from stars and galaxies to the textures of your room, the memories in your body, the permission you can give yourself to rest. We will not leave the cosmos behind entirely. It will remain like a soft backdrop, but we will let your focus narrow until all that matters is the rhythm of your breath and the gentle closing of your thoughts. For now, just notice this. You have traveled far in your mind, out beyond the planets, into the galaxy, through clouds of light and rivers of stars. And yet, the place you most needed to reach was never out there. It was here, this quiet moment, this safe position, this small, ordinary night where you are allowed to put everything down. Breathe in, breathe out, just a little longer. The universe continues, vast and patient, outside your window. But tonight, it does not require anything from you. It is enough for you simply to be one small, sleeping piece of starlight, finally ready to rest. You are home now. Not just back on Earth, not just back under the thin blue blanket of atmosphere, but home in the simplest sense, here, in your own room, in your own body, at the end of your own long day. The galaxy, with all its spirals and clouds and drifting stars, is still out there, turning in its slow, patient way. The solar system still circles the sun. Planets still glide along their orbits. Moons still trace their loops. Comets still wander. Nothing in that grand machinery depends on you staying awake to watch it. Nothing demands that you keep thinking in order for it to continue. You are allowed, now, to let the universe carry on without your attention. Bring your awareness gently back to the small details around you. You don't have to open your eyes to do this. In fact, it might be easier if you keep them closed, letting the eye images of space dissolve into a soft, dark background in your mind. Notice the weight of the blanket or sheet covering you. Feel where it touches your legs, your hips, your stomach, your chest. It might be light or heavy, cool or warm, tucked in or loose. However it is, let it become a reminder that you are here, anchored, supported. Feel the pillow under your head, the way it gives just enough to cradle your skull, the way it holds the shape of your rest. If you shift slightly, notice how it responds, molding itself to you without complaint. This is your small, personal gravity, your bed, your pillow, your blanket, all holding you in place so you don't have to hold yourself up anymore. Somewhere outside, there may be faint sounds, a distant car passing, a neighbor's footsteps, a dog barking once, then falling quiet. There might be the hum of a refrigerator, the soft whisper of air through a vent, the occasional creak of the building as it settles. Instead of treating these sounds as interruptions, you can imagine them as the background music of your planet, evidence that the world is still gently going about its business while you are allowed to rest. Inside your body, other rhythms continue. Your heart keeps pumping, moving blood through countless tiny vessels without you having to think about it. Your lungs draw in air and let it out again, drawing oxygen into your blood and letting go of carbon dioxide that your cells no longer need. Your temperature is being regulated. Your muscles are repairing. Your brain is quietly sorting through the impressions of the day. You don't have to manage any of that. You don't have to supervise it or earn it. Your body knows how to keep you alive even when your mind is tired. Especially when your mind is tired. At the back of your brain sits a tiny cluster of cells, your internal clock, synchronized over millions of years with the rising and setting of the sun. As evening falls and darkness grows, that clock sends signals that encourage the release of sleep hormones, whispering to your body that it's time to slow down, to cool slightly, to repair. Even if your schedule has been irregular, even if lights and screens have confused your sense of time, that deep rhythm still lives in you, trying every night to guide you back toward rest. You don't need to control sleep. You only need to step out of its way. If you like, you can take a slow breath now and gently scan your body from the feet upward, not to judge, not to fix, but simply to notice and soften. Start with your toes. Are they curled or relaxed? See if you can let them spread just a little, as if giving them more room inside your blanket. Then let them be. Move your attention up to your feet and ankles. Imagine them resting more heavily, sinking into the mattress. They have carried you all day, through hallways and stairs, shops and rooms, perhaps cramped shoes or long stands. Tonight, they are allowed to be nothing but feet, with nothing to carry. Let your awareness drift up into your calves and shins. If there is any tightness there, you don't have to force it to disappear. Just imagine that with each exhale, a little of that tightness drips downward, like grains of sand falling out of an hourglass, collecting harmlessly on the bed. Notice your knees, those complicated, hard-working joints. They bend and straighten countless times a day without you paying much attention. For a moment, silently thank them. If that feels okay, then let them rest as they are, neither locked nor tense. Let your attention climb into your thighs. These are powerful muscles, used for walking, lifting, climbing, shifting. They may hold more tension than you realize. Imagine them softening, the way a rope loosens when you take the strain off both ends. Let them feel heavy. Let the mattress carry their weight. Now your hips and pelvis, the base of your spine, the bowl that supports your organs. This region often stores the stress of sitting, of bracing, of holding yourself together emotionally. You don't have to dig into that tonight. You can simply picture a warm, gentle light here, like the glow of a distant star, soaking into the muscles and joints, telling them that it's safe to release just a little. Bring your awareness up into your stomach and lower back. Maybe your abdomen rises and falls as you breathe. Maybe your back is rounded or straight, pressed into the bed or cradled by it. There is no correct posture for rest. There is only whatever feels most kind to your body. If you notice any clenching in your belly, I imagine it softening, like a fist that slowly uncurls into an open hand. Move up into your chest. Feel your ribs expanding slightly as you breathe in, then gently contracting as you breathe out. Somewhere beneath your sternum, your heart continues its quiet work. You might picture it not just as a pump, but as a drummer keeping a steady rhythm, a drum carved from the same stardust as the rest of you, beating out a very personal pattern, yours. If any emotions arise as you sit with this awareness, sadness, gratitude, loneliness, relief, you don't need to push them away. You also don't need to analyze them. Tonight, they can simply be like passing clouds, noticed, acknowledged, allowed to drift. Let your attention flow into your shoulders next. They may carry more of your day than you know. Responsibilities, worries, unspoken sentences. The subtle act of holding yourself together in front of others. See if you can let your shoulders sink a tiny bit deeper into the surface beneath you, dropping away from your ears, widening across your back. Imagine that all the shoulds and musts of the day slide off them for now and land gently on the floor, to be sorted out by the morning light, not by your tired mind. From your shoulders, travel down through your arms, upper arms, elbows, forearms, into your wrists and hands. Notice the temperature of your fingers. Notice if your hands are clenched or open. Think of all the things they did today: typing, washing, carrying, cooking, touching. Even if it didn't feel like much, they played their part in getting you here. Let them empty out, like cups that have been poured from and are finally resting in the sink, waiting for warm water. Now, bring your awareness up into your neck. This narrow column works all day to hold up your head, to allow you to turn toward voices and screens and tasks. It can get tired, overburdened by the constant forward tilt we adopt when we're thinking too hard, reading too much, worrying too long. You might gently, I imagine your neck supported from beneath by a pair of soft, invisible hands, taking the weight for a while. Finally, arrive at your face. Feel the way your jaw sits. If your teeth are clenched, you can let them part just a little. Your tongue can rest loosely in your mouth. The tiny muscles around your mouth, your cheeks, your eyes, and your forehead, so often busy with expression, can smooth out now. You don't have to smile. You don't have to perform. Your face is allowed to fall into whatever shape it takes when you are simply you, without an audience. Above your eyes, behind your forehead, lies the part of your brain that spends so much time planning, predicting, replaying. It is a tireless storyteller, always stitching meaning together from what it sees and hears. You can thank it silently for trying so hard to protect you. And then, for tonight, you can let it know that it does not have to stay on duty until morning. There is nothing, right now, that you need to solve. If thoughts still come, that's okay. They are like the last few fireflies on a summer night, blinking in the dark. You don't have to chase them, catch them, or swat them away. You can simply watch them from the porch of your awareness, knowing that, eventually, their light will fade as the night deepens. If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, a night under the stars, a quiet conversation, a moment when you felt small but safe, you can let that memory rest near you, like a favorite book on the bedside table. You don't have to open it fully. Its presence alone can be comforting. And if, instead, this story has simply given you a brief sense of distance from your worries, that is enough. You don't have to turn the feeling into a lesson. You don't have to make use of it. Calm does not need to be productive. It can just be calm. Remember, here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark. Yours is one among many tonight. People in different cities, different time zones, lying in their own beds, listening to their own chosen stories, all quietly hoping for the same thing, to feel a little lighter, a little safer, a little more at peace before sleep takes them. You are part of that invisible community, even if you never meet them. Each of you, in your own way, is a small island of light on the night side of the earth, breathing in and out, releasing what you can, holding on to what matters. If this story brought you even a small sense of calm, you might. When you feel ready, leave a gentle comment for yourself, a few words, a tiny note of kindness. Not because you owe it to the channel, not because you must, but because sometimes writing a soft sentence to your own heart can be a way of placing a hand on your own shoulder and saying, I see you. You did enough for today. For now, there is nothing left you must do. In the final part of this journey, we will simply sit with that truth that you have traveled far enough for tonight, that the universe can wait until morning, and that sleep is not an indulgence, but a homecoming, a return to the quiet center of your own being. Until then, let your breath rise and fall. Let your body sink. Let the memories of planets and stars fade to a distant glow behind your closed eyes. You are here. You are safe enough. You are allowed to rest. The night has grown deeper while we've been traveling together. Outside your window, if you could see it, the sky would still be there, the same quiet darkness, the same distant stars. But inside your room, something has changed. The edges of your thoughts have softened. The world has moved a little farther away. You are no longer standing in the bright noise of the day. You are floating in the gentle, in-between place that lies just before sleep. All the images we visited, the scorched craters of Mercury, the swirling clouds of Venus, the blue and white of Earth, the canyons of Mars, the rings of Saturn, the hidden oceans of distant moons, the ice of Pluto, the golden records of Voyager. The drifting nebulae in the Milky Way are now like faint reflections on the surface of a dark lake. If you want, you can still see them, shimmering lightly in your mind. Or you can let them fade, one by one, into the background. You don't need to remember the details. This was never an exam. It was a lullaby. If some part of you is still listening, still following every word, that's okay. If another part is already drifting off, catching only fragments ring, star, soft light, breath, that's okay too. You can let your awareness move closer and closer to the edge of sleep without worrying that you'll miss the end. The story will be here, holding you, whether or not you hear every last sentence. Take a slow, easy breath in through your nose and let it fall out gently. As you inhale, imagine drawing in all the softness of this night, the calm of distant oceans, the patience of old mountains, the slow turning of planets, the quiet breathing of other people who are also falling asleep right now. As you exhale, imagine letting go of the day, the conversations that replay in your mind, the tasks that didn't get done, the worries that tried to follow you into the dark. You don't have to push them away. You can simply let them loosen their grip, like fingers slowly uncurling from a rope. You have done enough for today. You have thought enough, tried enough, carried enough. There is nothing urgent you must hold on to in this moment. Remember some of the images we passed along the way, not as facts, but as gentle metaphors that now belong to you. Saturn's rings, for example. Beautiful, delicate, temporary. For a team, they shine, catching the sun's light and sending it out in thin, bright arcs. And someday, far in the future, They will thin and fade. The ice drifting inward or outward. The halo dissolving. Their impermanence does not make them less beautiful. It simply means they belong to Time. There have been rings in your life phases, connections, dreams that circled you for a while, glittering. Some of them are still there. Some have already faded. It's all right to miss them. It's also all right to let them be what they were, moments of brightness in a long story, not obligations to hold on to forever. Or think of Voyager, that small, silent craft slipping through interstellar space with a golden record on board. It carries music, greetings, sounds of earth waves on a shore, a mother's kiss on a child's cheek, the crackle of a fire. It travels with no guarantee that anyone will ever find it. And yet, the fact that it was launched at all means something. The act of sending that quiet message into the dark is a kind of tenderness. Your life is full of such messages. Every Time you listened to someone who needed to talk. Every Time you offered a kind word. Every Time you did your best, even when no one was watching. You sent out a small golden record of your own. Those moments are still out there, traveling through the lives of others in ways you may never see. You don't need to track them or measure their eye impact. It is enough that you sent them. And then there is the galaxy itself, a vast, spiraling river of stars, turning so slowly that no human will see it complete a single rotation. Within that river, our sun follows its path. Around the sun, Earth orbits. On Earth, you live your days and nights. Your problems, from up close, feel huge. They fill your thoughts, tighten your chest, keep you awake. But when you place them gently in this larger frame, one small heart beating on one small world, carried on a long, slow journey through a luminous spiral, they begin to soften at the edges. They are still real. They still matter, but they are no longer the entire sky. You are allowed to rest inside that sky, instead of trying to hold it up. If your mind starts to wander back to something specific, an unfinished conversation, a task waiting for tomorrow, a regret from years ago, you can imagine it as a single speck in Saturn's rings, or a single grain of dust in a nebula, not erased, not denied, just one part of a much bigger, softer whole. You do not have to resolve it tonight. You do not have to solve yourself tonight. All you need to do is breathe and let the part of you that is tired sink deeper into the mattress, like a stone settling onto the floor of a calm, dark lake. Feel your body now. Your feet resting. Your legs heavier than before. Your hips cradled. Your back supported. Your shoulders no longer trying to rise toward your ears. Your hands empty and warm. Your jaw loose. Your eyelids soft and heavy. If thoughts come, they come through this heaviness, moving more slowly, like birds gliding instead of flapping. Some may still try to tug you upward. Don't forget, what if? You should really think about, but you don't have to go with them. You can let them pass overhead while you remain lying down, quietly watching them fade into the distance. You've spent much of your life in daytime mode, solving, planning, bracing, remembering, predicting. Night invites a different mode, not of avoidance, but of trust. Trust that some questions can wait. Trust that your body knows how to repair itself if you let it. Trust that the world will still be there in the morning, and that you will be better able to meet it if you have actually slept. You've traveled far tonight, from the small inner worlds to the gas giants and their moons, from icy outskirts to the soft edges of the galaxy, and all the way back home again. You've seen that even in vastness, there is gentleness. Even in great temescales, there is room for small, tender lives. Even in the coldest places, there can be hidden oceans. And now, the journey turns inward, one last time. Imagine that the eye images we've explored, the planets, the rings, the stars, are all slowly dimming, like lights being lowered in a theater at the end of a performance. One by one, they fade into a comfortable darkness behind your eyes, leaving only the faintest memory of their shapes. The Milky Way becomes a soft, silver line. The solar system, a tiny circle of warmth. Earth, a blue dot. Your room, a small patch of shadow. Your bed, a quiet shore. At the very center of all of these shrinking circles is something simple, the gentle rise and fall of your own breath. If you want, you can place your hand lightly on your chest again and feel that movement. In and out. In and out. Each breath is like a small orbit, a cycle that begins and ends and begins again, without you needing to direct it. You have been breathing since the moment you arrived on this planet. You will keep breathing, even as you sleep, guided by parts of your brain that never ask for thanks. Let your exhale grow just a little longer than your inhale, as if you're sighing in slow motion. With each long exhale, I imagine that you are releasing tiny traces of starlight from your thoughts, little sparks of mental activity drifting away into the night. Not lost, just set aside. There is a sentence we have been circling toward all along, like a ship returning to harbor after a long, wandering night. You've traveled far, and the universe can wait until morning. It really can. The emails, the news, the messages, the responsibilities, the unsolved mysteries, cosmic and personal, will all be there when the sun returns to your sky. You don't need to keep watch over them. Tonight, your only job is to rest. That is not laziness. That is not avoidance. It is cooperation with the same rhythm that moves oceans and seasons and stars. If your eyes are still open, you can let them close now. If they are already closed, you can let them grow heavier, as if someone has draped a warm, dark cloth gently over them. The world behind your eyelids doesn't need to be filled with images anymore. It can be empty, or faintly speckled with the last echoes of starlight, or just a comfortable blur. There is nothing you must hold in focus. Feel how still you can become. Not rigid, not forced, just still. The way a lake is still at dawn. Tiny ripples of thought may still cross the surface, but the depths below are calm. You are sinking into those depths now, one breath at a time. Somewhere in your future, there are problems to solve, joys to encounter, people to love, moments of beauty you haven't met yet. They will come when it is their turn. You don't have to rehearse them tonight. Right now, the only moment that exists is this one. A quiet room, a tired body, a slow, steady breath, and a story that has gently led you here and is now, slowly, stepping back. If your mind is still listening, it may catch these final words. If it has already drifted into dreams, that is perfectly all right. These words can be a soft bridge between waking and sleep, or they can be the last thing you almost hear before you slip beneath. You are made of the same matter as stars. You live on a world that has carried you through space without asking you to steer. You have done what you could today. You are allowed to rest, exactly as you are. May your sleep tonight be deep and kind. May your dreams be gentle and spacious, like a quiet sky. May you wake when it is time, with just a little more room inside your chest for your own life. For now, let go. Let the story end. Let the universe wait. Good night.